go.
Hi.
Hey, there you are.
Good
I
morning.
I was just explaining to them, we always have these glitches where, for some strange reason, we map everything out how it's supposed to
Yeah.
be. And then when it's time to go live,
It just, yeah, always, it always happens. But good
hey,
morning.
they're making fun of us, Floridians. Listen, I'm wearing a turtleneck.
I'm wearing
It's cold.
cashmere.
It's cold by South Florida standards. What's the temperature
Um,
where you are?
well, it was in the 50s this morning.
Reason enough to wear a turtleneck.
Absolutely. We had a fire last night, a fire pit outside. But what people don't understand about us, the Floridians, that when it drops below 70, we have fire pits. We get to pull out sweaters.
Absolutely.
We wear jackets, scarves.
Yes.
It's
Until 12 o'clock.
Yeah, until 12 o'clock, and then we have to take it all off and put t-shirts on. Yeah.
Listen, thank you so much for waking up and getting on the coffee chat with me. Do you have your coffee?
I do.
What are you drinking?
I brought out my favorite Preppy cup.
Oh, wow. Let's see.
Plaid and Preppy. Cheers.
That is cool. Cheers.
Yes.
So, for those of you tuning in today, and unless you live under a rock, I don't know if you don't know Mrs.Preppy Pants Consignment on IG. Some of the most unique collection of all things preppy that you can think of. But what's interesting is also her collection actually runs the gamut. That you can find everything from, I wouldn't even call it low end. It's low, for every budget. Yeah?
Right. I think every budget. Yeah. So we carry things that would be staples, t-shirts, jackets, those types of things within every budget. Or if you want a Louis Vuitton, or if you want a high-end Brahmin or a Chloe bag, something like that,
You got it all.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about you, where you're located, for those of us that don't know.
So we are in DeLand, Florida, and it is right outside of Orlando, between Orlando and Daytona Beach. Very small little community.
Yeah.
I think 50,000 people here. We get a lot of tourists.
Oh.
They like to come. We because we were named at one point America's best little downtown, like small town.
DeLand, Florida?
It was. A few years back, I think it was like maybe 5 or 6 years.
Well, Dade County has some work to do.
Well, Dade County is amazing in itself. Yeah, it's huge, but it's beautiful. If people have not been down south, it's beautiful down there.
Now, I'll have to admit, yesterday when we spoke, I told you, I said, my introduction to DeLand, Florida, I think it's very well documented. I'm not an American. And so my first introduction to DeLand, Florida, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was in college in Tallahassee.
Right.
And so I decided to be cheap and take a Greyhound, because a friend told me it's only like 30 minutes away. That's when you get, Tallahassee, it's only 30 minutes away. Mm-hmm. And so I jumped on this Greyhound and I met this guy strumming this guitar. And I asked him, where are you from? And he said, I'm from DeLand. And I thought he meant like the land. And he said, no, like DeLand, Florida. And he actually pronounced it DeLand. Is this someplace that one of those towns that if you know, you know?
It is becoming that. It really is. We get a lot of influencers in lately. Mm-hmm. We have a college here, Stetson College. It's wonderful. Not huge.
I didn't know Stetson was in DeLand.
Stetson is in DeLand. It's a beautiful little campus.
Yeah. It's
walking distance to downtown. I love Stetson.
Home of the Hatters.
The Hatters.
Yeah.
Yes. Great sports organization. Yeah. They are really good in the community. The young people that are going to Stetson do a lot within our community. And the professors are super involved with what's going on in the community. So I love Stetson. They're
So you think you can get a small town feel when you're in the land?
100%. Do you know, I get people in the shop every day and they'll say, we're talking to realtors. And I will say, why? Because we're moving here. And I said, were you moving here this morning when you came here? And they said, no, but we're moving here now.
Wow.
And it happens every day.
Are you, what, you're not from the land?
I'm not. I'm from Orlando. And I moved here. I had never been to DeLand before I moved here. Never. There was no
reason.
I-4 goes from Orlando to Daytona to Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
And I would never, there'd be no reason to stop in DeLand. But when my children got into a charter school that is predominantly for the arts, elementary and junior high, I moved here because they're both artists. And I thought that that would foster that in them. Instead of athletics, which, you know, a lot of schools are into athletics, They are predominantly into the arts. I loved it. I got a small job, Sunday job at my best friend's store. She owns a gift shop here called Pretty Little Things. And I loved it. And one day she said to me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want a little consignment shop. And she said, funny you should say that. There's a store down the street, little tiny store, available for rent. That was it.
Were you in the business before? This was something.
No, I was in the military for a very long time. And then I was a stay-at-home mom and had never run a business.
No way.
Had never, but I have been thrifting and consignment since I was a child. My mother loved to tinker around and go through the shops and see the treasures that she could find.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I loved it. It was a therapy for me, you know, to get out and you could just lose yourself and look at these items and think, ooh, who had this and what did they use it as? Yeah. And oh, I wonder how they decorated their home with this item, or ooh, what beautiful woman wore this jacket, Absolutely. You know, that's thing. So I loved it. And we didn't have a consignment store in town. And I thought, what is the one thing that I love more than anything, which is traditional preppy items here in the South. Yeah. I know that you and I are in a preppy group that will question everything. What is this preppy? Is it preppy? And the northern preps and southern preps are very different.
Very much so. Very different. Much so.
And
yeah.
Everything in between. All the states in between.
Even heard the term granola prep now. I don't know what that is, but
I don't know.
Those folks in California.
Really?
Yeah, I just heard it.
I have people who will come in and say, I live in California, I can't wear Lilly Pulitzer. I'm like, why not?
Yeah. Why?
Why could you not wear Lilly Pulitzer? Oh, it's too bright, it's too this, it's too that. I'm like, but color is therapy. Color makes people happy. It's beautiful. You're in the sun, you're in, you know, SoCal, having a great time on the beach.
Right.
Wear Lilly, wear it every day. What are you talking about? It's really interesting.
So your introduction to this world was that you went. I'm genuinely curious because I told you yesterday when we had our pre-chat that you're living a dream of mine that in every way, shape, or form. I mean, I get on your IG page and just veg out sometime.
Yeah.
Just because I'm looking and saying, this is everything I wanted. My wife jokes with me all the time and says, like, one of these days, you'll start it. And that one of these days, it seemed like it's quickly.
Do it.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? You have the style. You have a wonderful, your wife has amazing style. Your daughter has amazing style.
Thank you.
Do it. Do it.
Hey, your store is specifically for women.
Specifically, yes. We don't have the footprint. We are in a historic downtown district. So our buildings are smaller. There are some shops that are huge, but mine is small. It has these, you can't see it, but it has these beautiful tin roofs. The ceiling,
Oh, yeah, I can see them. Yeah.
it's gorgeous. And I love this spot. It just feels like it's my spot. And I can look out the front window, which is right in front of me, and see the boulevard and see the beautiful stores across the street. It's perfect. I think if I had a bigger store, I might put a men's section into
Yeah.
it.
Because you have men's stuff that come in. I've seen it on the page.
Occasionally, yes. Cashmere sweaters, I love, especially a men's cashmere sweater. But we do have some ladies who enjoy a masculine style.
And I
And
can see that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
it's colorful, it's
Yeah.
classic. The lines are fantastic.
Yeah.
They like the loafers. They enjoy a nice, Ralph Lauren blazer with that little crest on it. Those make me very pretty. Or a Brooks Brothers, shirt
Right.
that's crisp and oversized a little bit. It just so I do get it in and I do know it very well. But it's women that primarily I love. So that's
what if there tell us the land you said this is like, because you said it's a historic place.
it
You're
is.
the downtown area. Tell us a little bit about this, because you formed what I've seen as a online community that you guys seem to have like almost like a district family feel. That what I get every time, because there's something you guys do. It's called on Thursdays, right?
So we do the lady who I first started working for, her name is Tracy.
Okay.
At Pretty Little Things, her and I we chair and co-chair an event called Wine, Women, and Chocolate. And we do that every month. And it's primarily for women. Men can come, of course. And it's a free event downtown. And we have wine, we have chocolate, and you have a passport. It's almost like a scavenger hunt.
Okay.
And it takes ladies into stores every month to see what's new and what we have, and we theme it every month.
Okay.
So this month it's December pajamas, so holiday pajama party. One month we did the 80s, like 80s prom. So imagine you're sitting at one of our local restaurants outside and you see 100 women walk in the street in 80s prom garb.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
Or you're going to say, I need to go where they're going.
Exactly. And if you're new in town, I always tell this to all the ladies. If you're new in town, you don't have anybody to go with, come down on Wine, Women, and Chocolate. Yeah. We will introduce you to other people. The other ladies who have been coming for years will grab you up and say, come on, we'll show you the ropes.
There's a community.
That's the kind of community DeLand is.
Now, in your case, right? If somebody was watching and they said, I mean, it's crazy because I'm pretty sure there are companies or stores that will probably pop up and try to, we said imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Absolutely.
Are there other consignment stores or preppy consignment stores in DeLand in your area, or are you the only one?
Not in DeLand. Not in DeLand. They're popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
And I can't say that, I came up with it on my own. All I can say is I choose certain designers that I thought other women my age and even younger, now the 90s are coming back around again.
Yeah.
Would love. And those are the specific designers that I carry. Now, I know a lot of consignment stores will take everything.
Correct.
They'll just, they'll take everything so that they have a large variety. And usually their footprint for their store is much larger.
Gotcha.
I specifically only carry certain brands. And that's what the store is geared towards. over the years, it's changed. You know, initially when I started, it was a lot of Lily and Ralph Lauren, Lacoste, the brands that Vineyard Vines,
Correct.
those things that we carry, you know, here in my local area.
Mm.
As the years have changed, I think I enjoy a lot more Kate Spade. I love her. I love the stores.
Love it. Yeah.
Tory Burch. I
Yeah.
like classic design.
Yes.
And a lot more people are, even Betsy Johnson, as out of the, you know.
She's a rebel.
Yes. But if you compare a pair of her really, you know, blingy earrings with a classic design, that's you. You're making your own style.
Krista,
And
they say your window is beautiful too.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we try to do a really good everything pink. I usually try to do everything pink. There are people who hate pink, but most people will say, "Oh, that's a really pretty color," you know, and it's inviting and it's welcoming, and we try to do a really fun front window every month. So we have one lady who works for me who is a little bit older, and then one lady who works for me who is a very young 20-year-old. So we have a very good variety there. So there's the three of us, and we all have very different styles, and it's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
So this is a 3-person operation. You know, I'm thinking this means you grew. Now, you didn't start off with 3, did you?
No, it was just me. It was just me.
Okay.
It was really just me, and I thought, okay, I can handle this. I have a very small store, just me. I can handle it. I can curate what comes in.
Right.
But then the community was like, they heard there's a consignment store in town, and it started just coming in left and right. So I had to bring people on because I could not be here 7 days a week.
Mm.
And, you know, my husband would have killed me. My kids would have killed me. They would have been like, no. And then I started getting more involved in the community and started doing more events and started, I'm on the Main Street board. I'm on a planning board for the city. And those are the things I enjoy. I enjoy being in the shop. My girlfriends will tell you, I have not met a stranger. Just doesn't happen.
Right.
If they walk in that front door and they're ready to talk, I'll keep you here an hour. We'll talk about everything. We'll talk about every reason why you should move to DeLand, and we'll talk about which restaurant you should eat at today and what event you should come at this weekend, and we'll talk about everything, and then we'll find you something really cute to wear.
Well, that's priority 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, so who's Alley Cat? Do you know Alley Cat?
I do. So she's not only one of my wonderful consigners, but she's also an Army veteran and someone I love very much. She's given me some of the best advice I've ever received. Oh, wow. And when my daughter was joining the Navy, she gave my daughter incredible advice. So yeah.
Well, thank you. First, also, thank you for your service. You're a veteran, which is that means you got in young because you're still young. So
thank you.
You got in very young, apparently.
Yeah, I went right out of high school. Wow. So it was a lot of fun. I got to see the world and got to meet a ton of people. That was the thing. Meeting people, expanding your horizons, seeing different cultures. It was amazing.
Did this form your style as far as were you always into preppy?
No, I wasn't at all. I grew up.
No way.
I grew up in the alternative music scene. My husband is an old pro skateboarder. But I think yes, it's eclectic at best.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the classic lines. And when I was out of uniform, because you're in uniform so much,
right?
You went to the things that were the clothing that wasn't garish, that wasn't outlandish. It was just simple,
Yeah.
classic, easy to wear. And I was in uniform so much that when I got out of uniform, it was, I wanted to throw on a pair of khakis and a perfect sweater and be on my way.
Yeah.
So my style has evolved. I like funky shoes. I like funky earrings. I like cool outfits. Yeah. And I think you can pair a really classic preppy style with really funky finds.
Absolutely.
And it looks amazing. It's yours. It's amazing. It's your style.
That's the beauty of prep style too, is that it's unique to everyone. I mean, like you said, we're both in a prep group where, there's some things that I think they forget that the book was written as satire, but they become almost dogmatic with some of the things.
Little gatekeeping there.
Yeah, a little gatekeeping. And over the years, and I think, there's room for everything within prepdom, that you can express yourself. Yeah. Question: what is a typical day? I was on the phone with you yesterday.
I know. I'm sorry.
No. I thought it was the coolest thing because I got a peep into a day in the life of Mrs.Preppy Pants. What's a typical day for you coming in?
A typical day is a lot of coffee because I love my coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee.
I'm with you.
And it depends on how many appointments we have for that day. Sometimes we have 1 or 2 appointments.
What's an appointment?
Small, for consignment. They'll bring their items in. We'll take a look at them, see what we can use at this time, and then we get those items ready to photograph. And depending on who's here, if it's myself or Haley, we'll put outfits together and get them photographed and get them online and answer questions. And we also have a website. So we look at the orders that have come in overnight, get those packaged. We have a lot of people who call us and say, I really want this purse. What are the dimensions? What's it made out of? Send me a video. I have this really wonderful customer, and she is in Pennsylvania. And she will send me photographs from the website and say, I want this, and this. And I'll say, okay. And we have become friends because over the years, we just, and she is incredibly preppy. She's one of the traditional preps.
Yeah.
And when something comes in and it's a classic style in certain colors, I send her pictures immediately. And I'm like, this is your size. This is your style. Do you want it? And she'll say yes or no. And, I send it off to her the next day. But the shop gets incredibly busy. And I have wonderful people, consigners or friends who'll just stop in. They'll tell me about their day. They'll tell me about their kids. It's part of, number one, yes, we want to sell items because, yes, my landlord,
you're in business, right?
He does like getting paid. But the big thing is the community, the people.
Yeah.
Those people mean so much to me that when you walk through the door, if I cannot remember your name, which I try to remember, I remember what you bought last time you were here.
Now that's genius.
And
what's interesting in the world of things becoming so tech or so and I'm all for progress.
Yes.
But I think I'm also a proponent of the human touch also and human interaction where we don't forget to become humane in the process of products. I'm in retail spaces all the time, and you see it where the staff become robotic, but then you have that one company or that one place that you go to where they actually remember, oh, how's the kids? Oh man, how's your daughter? And I think what people forget, besides the fact that these are people spending their hard-earned dollars, especially in the climate we find ourselves in. These are people that are actually, small businesses are the lifeblood of this economy. And people forget that, where the customer service is something that's missing. So when I hear you say that, where you say, if you can't remember the name, you remember their purchase, man, that's something that's golden, and it's something that's missing in today's market.
You know, I like it. I like it when I walk into a store and they go, I remember you were here and you bought blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, yes, you're
Yeah.
right. That means I meant something to
Absolutely.
them other than just a purchase.
Right.
When I have the ladies who come in carrying a purse that they purchased here, and I say, I know that purse, and I bet you got a ton of compliments on it, didn't you? And their face lights up and they go, yes, I've received so many compliments on this purse. Thank you so much. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the joy that it brings me. And or when they're kids, I watch their kids grow up, you know, year
Wow.
after year, and I'm like, when, you know, now they're old enough that they can come in and find clothes like in the size smalls because they fit them, and
Right.
and we had the mayor and his wife in on Small Business Saturday, and their daughters come in to get their Lily Pulitzer here, and they're lovely kids. Like they're wonderful. They're high school kids, and they're wonderful.
Mm.
And to see them grow and to become, you know, young women is just, I'm so thankful that I get to be part of
That
this
process.
Absolutely. And so when they come in, I do my best to remember names. My memory is not the best, but I will definitely remember what you bought last time you were here. Absolutely. Especially if it's a beautiful Brahmin. If it's a Brahmin, I remember it.
You will remember, of course.
I will remember that. Absolutely.
How long have you been in business? I would say, or in this location, I should say.
This location, we're going on 4 years, 5 years.
But you've been in business for 9, right?
Almost 9.
Almost 9.
Yeah.
That's staying power.
It's been rough. Through COVID was really, really rough.
How'd you deal with it?
I had a wonderful community. My girlfriend down at Pretty Little Things, her and I got together. A bunch of the merchants got together. I think she led the way of online sales, getting online with her store, and it really started the process. And she's like, we got to think out of the box.
Yeah.
We have to think out of the box. And I thought, yeah, you're right, we do. And a lot of the other merchants were doing different things. And if it worked for them, I was like, well, maybe I'll try it. Door drop delivery. People would buy things online. We'd drop it off on their doors. Curbside delivery.
Yeah.
They would come, they'd pick it up. We wouldn't, you know, no touching there. It was amazing. Everybody thought outside of the box. We had people who donated to some of the merchants. It was great. And now looking back on it, I think how thankful I am that our local community, they kept us going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And right now, the holiday season, this is the crazy busy shopping time. How was Small Business Saturday for you?
Small Business Saturday was beyond. It was beyond anything. It surpassed the last few years. And we always look forward to it. It's wonderful, not only for all the businesses. And we in DeLand say, what's good for one is good for all of us. Right? We have restaurants, we have bars, we have breweries. If somebody is coming into DeLand to eat, drink, be entertained, they're going to hit the shops.
Right. Why not?
It's open and the lights are on and there's music and people are, you know, going around and shopping. Yeah, you're going to be curious and you're going to go to those shops. So the best thing that we can do is make it welcoming and inviting for everyone. And Small Business Saturday was just that. We had everyone downtown. It was so busy from the minute I opened to the minute I closed.
Wow.
Yeah, I had Haley here with me. She was helping me out, and we just we were busy. She was behind the computer, you know, checking people out, and I was talking to everyone. And like I said, we have a small shop. It's narrow.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, you couldn't you couldn't walk.
Yeah.
It was really busy, and I hear the other merchants said the same thing. You know, I saw packages upon packages upon packages, and it was just amazing. And we were so thankful that people chose to come downtown DeLand to shop small. They chose that. Like they chose to get in their cars and come down here.
Absolutely. Cyber Monday, did you get some of that?
A little bit. It's never the biggest for us because, you know, you have Amazon, you have all the online retailers that have those huge marketing budgets. We got a little bit, but it's never one of those days for us. Black Friday was absolutely very different this year. Usually we don't get a ton of Black Friday shoppers, and we really did have a lot. And I'll tell you what else really helps. We have a mansion here called the Stetson Mansion, and a lot of people, it's stunning. It's like the Biltmore, but smaller. And we have a ton of people that come into town to go tour this mansion. Now, when they come tour,
I've never heard of it.
Oh, you have to look it up. It's called the Stetson Mansion. It is absolutely stunning at Christmas time. People come, they tour, and then they come downtown to eat and to shop. And this may be, you know, their first time they've ever been to DeLand. Right. So we, you know, the merchants are very, very happy to have these people who have taken their time to come down here and go to Stetson and visit the mansion. And then they come in and they tell us how wonderful it is. And then they go, where do we eat? Where do we go? What do we do? And you know, all the merchants will tell you, well, go here to eat, or go here to eat, or we have wonderful, you know, mom and pop restaurants and they're delicious. So it's good.
What's parking like downtown?
Parking is an issue. It's always an issue.
It's downtown.
It is downtown. I'm looking out front right now, and we do have some parking out there right now. However, we have parking lots. It's just not on the main strip.
So you can walk. I mean, it's good to get out and walk.
It is. Stetson Mansion was house of founder of Stetson. Yes. It is easy.
Look this guy up. These people.
The Stetson.
The cowboy hat.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that's why they're the Hatters.
Okay. Okay, now it's not. It's all starting to make. So I'm getting Okay.
Parking. You can park, and it's very walkable. We have a wonderful walkable downtown, and it's not large. The imprint is not. You can go from south to north easily.
Okay.
And it's wonderful. We have these murals downtown that are absolutely stunning, and they're painted on. They could be in the alley behind me, or they could be, you know, we have these little tiny we have these little tiny paintings on the walls that you kind of discover. And we have the DeLand Wings, which are in the alley right behind me. DeLand Wings, everybody goes and takes their pictures because they're up on the wall. They're absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So I'm so thankful for this community and this they've accepted. You know, people walk by every single solitary day and they read the front window and they go, Miss Preppy Pants, Preppy Pants, Miss Preppy Pants. Haley, Susan, and I hear it all day, every day. Miss Preppy Pants. And then they come in and they'll say one of two things. They'll say, I love the name of your shop, or they'll say, I'm not preppy. Can I be in here? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Be in here. You will find something in here. I guarantee you.
Let me pop something on you. Doc Martens, would I find them in your store?
Absolutely.
I would just really?
Absolutely. I love Doc Martens more than anything on earth.
Yeah.
Doc Martens and Vans. I wear Vans probably every day to work.
We will find those in your store?
Absolutely. I sell more Vans and Doc Martens than anything except Lily Pulitzer.
Messing with you with the Doc Martens. I was thinking this, because when I think Doc Martens, I think almost grunge in a sense, right?
Grunge is back.
Brand is
Yeah,
back.
everything 90s has turned around. And if you look on TikTok and you put in preppy, it's usually somebody with a Nirvana shirt and a plaid skirt.
You're taking it way back. You're taking it way back.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we've got our own style
Yeah.
going on here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down with it. That's fine. But what's really funny is people will say to me, "Oh, I bet you love the Stetson girls because you have all the Lily Pulitzer." And I'll say, "I do love the Stetson girls. I love them very much."
Yeah.
But I love the Stetson parents more than I love the Stetson girls, because they will come in, they'll bring their daughters in, they'll find something for themselves, like an old polo pullover sweater, you know, the ones that we use, the V-necks that we all love, traditional, or they'll find a blazer, or they'll find, you know, some really cute loafers, and then the daughters will find Doc Martens, or they'll find Vans, or they'll find like a band t-shirt that happens to be here. And so then that's what makes me happy, is when somebody can walk in and go, I don't think I'll find anything here, and they leave with wonderful items.
There's something for everybody.
Absolutely.
Now let me ask you this. If somebody is watching this, right? I'm doing like Oprah, you know, they said Oprah bring people on her show and as therapy.
Yeah.
So I'm asking this. If somebody's watching this and they said, I don't know how to price a Louis Vuitton purse. I don't know how to spot a fake. I don't know how to you know, I don't know how to I wouldn't have the first clue on where to start.
Right.
I know a guy named Vernon. He's very interested. What would you say? Like, how would you spot a fake, or how do you even get started?
Well, that's interesting. So my store does not sell replicas.
Yeah.
Doesn't sell fakes. We don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's against the law, number one. Number two, I just don't think it's ethical to do that. So I've done a lot of research, a ton of research daily.
Okay.
Depending on the item, you do it daily. And there's also companies out there that will authenticate items for you. Now, if I can find the numbers that are inside of bags, if I can't authenticate a pair of shoes, I will definitely send that item to the authenticators.
Okay.
Because I want to sell an item to an individual that they know is authentic.
Absolutely.
I want it to be authentic. Do mistakes happen? Absolutely. But you do the best that you can to reach out to the professionals who know for a fact that item is, and they can give you a certificate. Good consignment stores, I know a lot of great consignment stores.
That's interesting.
Authenticate all of their items. And if you go into a good, and people have come into the store and they've said, is that Louis? Authenticity, and say, I've done the due diligence.
Right.
It is authentic. Here is your letter of authenticity. And I think it eases people to know, okay, yeah, I'm going to spend $700 on something. I want to make sure that it's authentic. And that's just, you know, I think that's just good to make sure that, and if they decide to resell the item at any time, they have that paperwork there.
They can send out, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's your rep for your store the long term.
I think so. Yeah. I think you want people to understand that if they're going to buy an authentic Brahmin or an authentic luxury item, that you've done the due diligence in making sure that item is what you're representing.
I'm sure I'm going to get somebody ask this, and they're going to ask me in a DM. You said Brahmin twice. Could you tell, for those that don't know what a Brahmin is, explain it.
I was trying to see if I had one close, but I don't have one.
Back there.
Yeah, I've got a couple of Burberrys and a vintage Valentino and a couple of a couple of other bags. Brahmins, for some reason, have been super popular this year. I don't know why. I don't know what's happened, but they're bags and they're embossed, and they have different patterns, but they're leather quality. They will last you. The price point, if you buy them new from a retailer, it can be a little pricey, under $1,000, but it can still be a little pricey. If you buy them resale, they're a little bit lower. And my store only takes in items that are new or like new. I'm very particular about that. I like the item to be in the best condition that it can be, to resell.
Now, what separates you? Because now you said something that caught my attention.
Sure.
Now, what separates a consignment store from a thrift store? I mean,
yeah. So consignment is the person brings in the item that they own. We take it, we sell it, and then we give them a portion of the sales. Right. My shop is a 60-40, or a 50-50 if it's a luxury item over $500. Thrift is people donate. You take your items, you donate it, you get nothing for it. Yeah, you do help the community, and you do help, you get your tax form. But that's thrifting. Consignment is we take that item, we sell it for you. If it doesn't sell in my store, it either goes back to the consignor, or if they say donate it, we donate it to our local neighborhood center or one of the other charities that we have local.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Is there a window that stuff that you say? I've only consigned once, and what's crazy is that I consigned these Hermes ties that I had. Yeah, it was the coolest thing at the time, and I completely forgot about them and didn't go back to them until like about 9 months later. And the guy was looking at me crazy, like, I can only find one of them. So that's why, my experience with consignment was that right. And so I'd always done where you have these other ones like the Poshmark and the Real and stuff.
Right.
And people can slip something by even in those. When someone's coming into your consignment store, are you looking at the stuff and saying, I guess my question is, do you ever turn anybody away to say, your stuff isn't nice enough for my store?
I don't say it's not nice enough.
You won't use those words.
No, never. Because people are very attached to clothing, purses, jewelry.
Yeah.
So I would never use those words. They may not sell. It may not be something that would sell in my store. So that's when I have to say to them, it probably wouldn't sell. We get people who want to bring me ski suits, and we live in Florida. So I'm like, no, probably wouldn't sell. Yeah. We have people who want to bring me furs. And as much as fur is beautiful, I prefer not to sell it. But we have another store here in town that loves fur. So I send them to her.
You're just more ethical than anything else, or it just doesn't jive with your style?
It both.
Yeah.
Both. I don't, if somebody wants to wear fur, that's
right. That's their business.
Their opinion.
Yeah.
But I prefer not to have it in the store. Plus, we're in Florida, and I did, however, sell a pink vintage rabbit fur coat in the middle of summer one year to one of my best customers, and every year I post that picture of her because it is one of
pink rabbit
fur coat. It was vintage. It was not new. But it was, she loved it and she looked amazing in it. So, but people try to bring in, faux items a lot, and I won't take them, and I do have to turn them away. Or, people will try to bring in, leather or boots in the middle of summer, and I have to tell them, I'm sorry, it's just not the season. We do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in Florida, it's really weird. You know this. It tomorrow it's going to be 90
Correct.
degrees, right?
Yeah.
Today it's 40.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's 90. And then we get a lot of tourists in our area. And they're not prepared for it because they're leaving cold weather and they get here and they go, it's 80 degrees outside. It's hot. So I keep shorts. I keep short sleeve shirts and I keep short dresses in the shop all year round. All year round. I don't care what the big department stores are putting out.
Right.
I will keep those items in the store at all times because I have learned over the years, people are going to come and visit and they bring the wrong clothing.
Indeed. Yeah.
And so they find a consignment store downtown and they go, I can buy shorts or I can buy a dress or I can buy, they will come in the shop, change the clothes that they have on.
No way.
Into all the time. Happens all the time. And I'll say, here's a bag for your clothes. Go change in the dressing room. And yeah, you can definitely wear it out all the time.
What's a typical price point for your consignment? Is it because your stuff is you're doing Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Ferragamo, and all these big designer names also along with the prep?
We do. So we do have some luxury items in the shop. Ferragamo is a big one for us. We love Ferragamo. Yeah. And we love any of the vintage classic brands, Valentino, Chloe, Louis Vuitton. We love those. So I've got a couple of Louis Vuittons in right now. They're around $700. But then you can also buy a Lily Pulitzer white label vintage dress for $44. So
it's a really good price point then.
Absolutely. If you come in and you want a designer purse that we may have at the time, absolutely, you can get it for under $1,000. If we've got a Chanel in the shop, which we've had a couple of beautiful Chanels. There's not a huge market in DeLand for Chanel, but we do get them in. Okay. And they'll sell for a couple thousand. But you can also buy, a Patricia Nash brand new with the tags for $70, or a really good Dooney and Burke that is a classic.
It's a classic, yeah.
And it will last you years if you. I'm a big fan of the Dooney and Burke. I know a lot of people laugh.
Has one.
I love Dooney and Burke.
Yeah.
Pebbled leather. Yeah. It will last you forever. It doesn't have a bunch of logos on. You can buy the ones that do have logos, but
I prefer the ones,
no logos. And Longchamp. Oh, give me a leather Longchamp bag. Happy. I'm so happy.
I just got my daughter her first Longchamp a couple months ago.
Really?
And it's crazy. And it's crazy because you see them grow into this style, and they appreciate it. And when we did it, I remember her telling me that I want to thrift it, and I actually got excited. I'm a big proponent. I'm an advocate for upcycling and reusing. Do you and so I mean, half of my closet, I would say, is probably vintage. Yeah. Probably more than half. And I've gotten some of the most unique things. I mean, some of the times, I get really cool stuff because I have a size 13 feet. So some things people just can't fit.
Exactly.
And I can get them on a steal. But do you ever have people that will not do consignment because of the idea or the stigma attached to saying, I don't want to wear something? Do you get that?
All the time. All the time. It hurts. It hurts me a little bit. Because I'll tell you a really quick story. I had we have a place here called The Villages, and it's where older people live, and it's a community. had these ladies over. There was a group of about 6 of them. One of the ladies came in, and a beautiful woman, probably in her 70s, probably in her 70s. And she said, I want a Lily Pulitzer dress. I've never had a Lily Pulitzer dress. She was from like Indiana or something. Okay. And she said, I've never had one. And all of her group of ladies were around the dressing room, and she came out in this Lily Pulitzer, and the smile on her face. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the dress. There was one woman in the back, and she said, that's secondhand. That's used. Why would you buy that? Why would you wear that? No. And it made that beautiful smile go, you know.
Wow.
It hurt me. And I will never forget that woman. But you know what? She bought the dress.
I was just going to ask you. Good.
Weeks later, she came back, and I said, and of course I remembered her. And I said, did you receive compliments on your Lily Pulitzer? And she just, you know, when the shoulders go back, and she said, yes, I did. I got lots of compliments. And she has become a repeat customer, even though, you know, her friend was like, oh, I'll never buy anything used. You can buy it brand new for the same price. And I'm like, no, you cannot.
No, you cannot.
I would love to see where you're buying it at the same price, because I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
But no, you cannot. But we do. We get not a lot of people, but we do get people in who say, we just won't shop secondhand. Okay.
Listen, to each his own. You know, I've always been, I was telling a colleague of mine, I said, for me, I love the classics. And something that stood the test of time that the other day, there's a honey hole. I was telling you, we have our thrifters have our spots, and even a code language that we speak now.
Yes.
And so I went to the honey hole, and I got this Ralph Lauren double vent. I mean, this was just one of those things when the construction was top notch. And I'm not saying that it's bad now, but it's, you know, you've seen it, it's gone through its dips.
Yes.
And this was when the construction was at its top. And I remember looking at this and saying, this is going home with me. The crazy part about it is that I got this compliment, and this guy told me, man, that is beautiful. I mean, he's like staring at the jacket, almost making me uncomfortable, saying, that is a beautiful jacket. And I told him, I said, you know how much I paid for it? He said, how much? I said, and of course he wanted to know the name. As soon as I said the name, I said, did you know how much I paid for it? And he said, how much? I told him, I said, I got it for $7. And he said, you thrifted that? And I said, I did. I said, and he said, and all of a sudden there was a shift in this. And I told him, I said, but something, and you wouldn't be able to look at this and see, there are some things that you can look and see the wear on it, and you just like, yeah, just leave it. This looked like this person had preserved this jacket just for me. That's how I see it. And the second I told him that it was something that was vintage, or I thrifted it, it was this look that said, I just couldn't do it. And I found that so disheartening, especially with all the markets of hyper production. And you know, I in the fashion industry, it was 52 seasons before.
Yes.
52 seasons.
Yes.
And
fast fashion.
Fast fashion. And
that will fall apart
in a day.
Yes. One wash.
And to see you're holding on to ethically sourced products, authenticating the products that you have. This is something that's lost. And my question, I think, for you is 5 years from now, because everything moves so fast, where do you see Miss Preppy Pants in 5 years from now, if you could project it?
I'm going to stay right here in DeLand. Maybe I'll get a bigger spot and add children, and maybe I'll add men. I don't know yet. We'll see.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely be here in DeLand. Yeah, I love this community so much. I love what I do. My consigners are amazing. My customers are amazing. Yeah. So, yeah, and you know what the wonderful thing is? I'm seeing more younger people buy
Yeah.
consignment.
Yeah.
And more younger people tell me or ask me, hey, where are the thrift stores around town? And you and I, we both know our honey hole
Yeah.
places. We know where to
Yeah.
go for, you know, great items. And I'll tell them, oh, go here or go here. What are you looking for? And then I started to see a shift recently of older ladies who will say, I want a vintage piece, or I want a piece out of your store because I'm going to an event and I do not want to show up in the same item as somebody else.
Absolutely.
And I'll
Absolutely.
say, perfect. Let's get you something that nobody else has worn.
Right.
You know, it'll have tags. We have a ton of stuff in our shop that has tags on it because you know how ladies are. We'll buy and buy and buy, and there'll be tags on it. And people are so shocked when they see a tag on something and go, oh, this costs $300 and you're selling it for, you know, $99. That's amazing. And it still has its tags on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we do as thrifters and consignment store shoppers, we find the best items. They've lasted.
Yeah.
I sold 2 vintage men's Lilly Pulitzer blazers.
Tell me about them. They came from New Orleans, you told me.
They came from New Orleans.
Tell us about that.
I had them out to me, and they were her father's. Beautiful blazers. And if you know anything about Lilly Pulitzer men, the vintage, the construction,
impeccable,
amazing. Yeah. So she sent me two blazers. Were they loud? Oh my goodness, they were loud. And they were wonderful. I mean, you will not find these blazers anywhere else. Nobody's going to show up in these blazers.
Right.
I sold them to one of my local people who is very fashionable.
Okay.
But him and his wife, they both wear Lilly, and they're very involved in the community. Sold both of them. They fit him perfectly, and he wears them, you know, to events and whatnot, and he receives compliments daily.
Of course.
So, it's such the quality. They've lasted 20 years, 30 years. That's amazing.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that in order to for some reason women can get away with Lilly. I've never seen a Lilly Pulitzer dress on a lady that I didn't like. Right?
Exactly.
But for men, you have to have a certain amount of what's the French word? Je ne sais quoi. Yeah, in order to pull it off. And living in Florida,
confidence.
Now, you have to have confidence. Would you associate those with GTH clothes? Go to hell trousers? Would you put them in the same jacket for a male or no?
No. I think that you have to be a very confident man to pull something like that off.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the Lilly vintage men's pants. I think you and I both follow some people on Instagram who either worked for Lilly and now work for other preppy brands.
Yeah.
That can pull off men's Lilly pants like nobody else. Amazing style.
Yeah.
It's just the way you carry it.
Yeah.
A lot of younger guys who can wear those loud pants, pair it with a solid top. The way you carry it. It's the way you carry it. And women can wear Lilly. I'll have women of a different size say, I can't wear Lilly because I'm a little bigger. And I'm like, no, it's how you carry it. That's what matters. And they'll put that dress on and they'll look amazing. So
this is Chris from Afro Preppy. He said that would be me.
yes.
Hey, I have 5 minutes, 4 minutes with Ms. Preppy Pants. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comment box. If you don't, you can DM. In the meantime, how do we find you? Say, we'll rock
burlap. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. It's that confidence.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Tell us where we can find you in the land. What's your address? How do we find you online?
So our address is 106 South Woodland Avenue, and we're in DeLand, DE, capital Land, Florida. It's funny, we have a shirt that says DeLand, DeLand, DeLand. It's all how you say it.
Yeah.
And you can get us on the website at MissPreppyPants.com.
If I put you in my GPS,
Yes.
would Mrs. Preppy Pants come up?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Google it. All you gotta do is Google it.
Awesome.
I will
Awesome.
show bright
Before I let you go,
pink and green.
So we can look for the pink and green store.
Green all the time, and a touch of black.
Now you're not, pink and green. Chris is Mr. HBCU also. I didn't have the privilege to go to an HBCU. So when I think pink and green, I also think AKA.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Do you get them in there? Wait, and there's a pink and green pearl, I think. There's this lady on Instagram that has an event in West Palm Beach, and I'm wondering if you can become a supplier. She's a Lily fanatic. I don't know if you follow her. It's all the pink and green something. I'll get the information to you.
I get my sorority ladies. The lady you were talking about early, Miss Alley Cat, is one of my sorority ladies, but her colors are not pink and green.
Okay.
However, I do get my pink and green ladies in. They'll see pearls in the front window, and if they're going to an event in Orlando or anywhere, they know, come on in. I have something for them. And then Miss Alvesta, the lady we were talking about earlier, is a Delta, and I think they're red and white. Yeah. So she'll come in anytime I get anything red and white. Yeah. She'll come in and get that, and there she is, Delta Sigma. That's it. And I love
Deltas.
my sorority ladies. Yeah, they've taught me a lot, so I love those ladies.
Chris from Afro Preppy is an alpha. I just figured I would drop that. I've been trying to get into their fraternity for years, and I don't have the smarts. I don't have the clothing style, and apparently I'm lacking something else. I've been advocating online. They won't even give me honorary.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
they should.
They just won't do it.
We're gonna start a campaign.
You saw Chris. He said, "Don't start." I'm gonna leave that right there. Mm-hmm. Listen, I appreciate you, Miss Preppy Pants, coming on.
Appreciate you
taking the time out of your busy morning. I love what you stand for. I love your products. I love your store. I love your story. Please, please, please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're needed. And in so many circles appreciate it. I'm pretty sure the people on the group that you and I belong to, they value you also in that group. Yeah.
They make me laugh all the time.
You're saying it, and even if they don't, you're still going to be Miss Preppy.
Is it preppy enough? Is this preppy? Is this cup preppy? I don't know.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Listen, thank you so much for your time. Guys, follow along on Miss Preppy Pants. Again, she has an online presence also, but I much would prefer you go into DeLand, Florida. Make it your business. Make it your business to come down and go check her out. Any last words before we part?
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. This was wonderful this morning.
So cool. All right. I will talk with you later.
Bye. Bye-bye.